welcome back to another gadget report. So let's talk gadgets. This week we continue talking about sustainability and the environment and how aviation is actually pulling their weight into really work for the environment and getting a sustainable aviation. This week we'll be talking about an article that was published on Australian aviation, and it is about a partnership between Airbus, the plane manufacturer Airbus, and Qantas for the production of SAF in Australia. So this is a major contract, this is a major partnership that will ramp up the SAF industry in Australia, which is something that I believe the airlines in Australia are quite keen on, and it's something that will be very positive not only for the aviation or the Australian aviation, but also for the aviation, globally, because that's the purpose. It's lower emissions and getting aviation more sustainable. So stick around. Let's talk gadgets. So let's talk green gadgets. And as I said, this week I'm very excited about this article. I read this article in Australian Aviation, and it was an announcement that an agreement has been signed between Qantas CEO Alan Joyce, and French plane manufacturer Airbus, in order to work together for improving and ramping up the SAF industry in Australia. Both companies will be investing a major amount of money in this. The article says that they will jointly invest about 200 million US dollars, that is 288 million Australian dollars, into this project, so we can have SAF produced in Australia for Australian consumption. This is very important, and I have already written a few articles about this and about the commitment from Qantas about getting this industry going and SAF produced in Australia. I've also written about other countries doing exactly the same thing. I wrote about what British Airways is doing in the UK and what they're doing in the UK as well. So this is, again, another proof that this sector, the aviation sector, is actually working actively to improve their carbon emissions and getting more and more sustainable, which I think is a great idea. I'm reading my notes, as you can imagine, because it's a long article, and I don't want to miss anything. According to the article, Qantas wants 60% of its fleet fueled by SAF by 2050, and 10% by 2030. This is the targets that Qantas wants to meet. They say in the article that at the moment a lot of this fuel stock is actually that is produced in Australia, millions of tons, according to the article. It's actually exported out of Australia to refineries to produce SAF overseas. So this does not make sense, because if we actually have the commodity, we actually have the product for which we can produce this sustainable aviation fuel, why should we be exporting it out to other refineries and then possibly buying this fuel, this SAF produced overseas, possibly more expensive, if we can produce it in our country and have our own industry? I think this is one of the focal points that the article says. It's really important to focus in this. So that's why the two companies have joined together in order to get this project going. Qantas is one of Airbus's biggest clients. As you know, I have written about. They are renewing their fleets, and most of the fleet is now Airbus. So this is an important thing to do, since Qantas is buying Airbus's planes. It is important that both companies work together in order to get these planes going on SAF, and obviously they get the SAF produced locally. That may be a cut cost exercise, because, as I said, we want to do the right thing, and aviation wants to be sustainable, and they've been working actively for this. But you cannot be sustainable if you're not viable, and it has to be obviously a business exercise. Both Qantas and Airbus are still businesses, are still big companies, and they really need to look into this in a business perspective, and in a way of it's viable and can be profitable for both companies, which I think it is, obviously. But it is a common effort. It is actually, I think, and what we will see this month with all the videos and articles I'm writing about this month, is that the whole aviation industry is actually doing a great deal of work for this, and to get this sustainable aviation fuel going. There's also the hydrogen technology that I will be talking about as well, which is another technology that is in development and might be used in the future for aviation. But at the moment, the one that is already being used in some companies, in some airlines, is this SAF, so sustainable aviation fuel. And this is mainly obtained, as I've mentioned before, through forestry or agricultural, even our domestic waste that can be transformed into SAF, that can then be transformed used by aviation in planes. So this is a major development. This is a good technology that will help the industry pollute less, and also will help us do something about the waste that we produce as well. And so I think it's a very good and very positive thing for everyone. It is very good. It is also said in the article that Qantas CEO Alan Joyce have mentioned that if we don't invest in this technology, and if we don't invest in doing this now, we will end up with Australia falling behind on this, because other countries, and as I said, other countries are really doing their fair share and are ramping up their SAF production and their work on this to become sustainable and to reduce emissions. And if we don't do anything in Australia, we obviously will fall behind. And that's why both companies are now working together in order to achieve this as soon as possible. I think it's a great effort. It's a great project that will be very positive for Australia. It will be very positive for the planet, I think. And it's something that I obviously feel very strongly about. This month I will be talking about aviation, because I would love to show that this sector that sometimes is seen as one of the biggest polluters, I would love to share with you that this sector is actually doing something about this, and is trying, and is actually working actively to reduce their emissions and become greener. So it is possible to have a green aviation. It is possible to have our zero emissions. And that's all for today. I hope you really loved our gadget report this week. I hope you are really excited about this project, just like I am. And of course, if you know about any similar project in your country, or any other project, even in Australia, if you are working in one of these projects, or if you are really If you know about any other airline being involved in something like this, please share. It's always good that we share all these good news, so people really have an insight of what is actually going on, and that actually things are happening. I think the most important thing that we can take from this is that sometimes we don't even need um, governments to enforce things, because sometimes industries start working on achieving things even when governments don't. So, and I think aviation is one of these industries. They have been working on SAF for quite a while. Um, SAF industry is actually increasing around the world, and that's a very, very, very positive thing to achieve. So I think it's a positive for everyone. Uh, and if you have anything to share, if you have any project in your country, or if you know about any project that I haven't mentioned, so please share in the comments below. It's always good to talk about these things, because I think these are the good action against climate change that we need to talk about, because we need to talk about the good things that are happening, the good change, so people can see that it's actually possible to change habits and actually change bad habits into good habits and achieve good results. So please share with us. And put a like on the video and subscribe the channel with a click on the bell, so you get a notification of a new gadget report every week. Before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching. See you next week for another gadget report. So have a good one. Thank you. Bye.